What's up, nerds? So today we've got a movie that, well, let's just say it's gonna ruffle a few feathers. And I mean, I'm still sitting here trying to process Conclave, directed by Edgar Berger. I believe that's how you pronounce his name. And it stars Ray Fiennes, John Lithgow, Stanley Tucci, the Tooch, and Isabella Rossellini. I think that's how you say her name. Now, with such an all-star cast, you would think that we were, in for a gripping and maybe even thought-provoking drama about the Catholic Church, and all that, right? Well, buckle up, because this film isn't just a misfire and a misstep. It's a full-on political missile that ends with a shockingly absurd twist that will have you staring at the screen in disbelief. First things first, I should have known better. You know how it goes. Anytime Hollywood gets its hands on something steeped in tradition, it's only a matter of time before they inject their modern political agenda. This movie takes place during a papal conclave, the process where cardinals choose the next pope after the death of the sitting pope. Now, that sounds intriguing, right? Yeah, well, the film starts strong, setting up a world of intrigue, backstabbing, and political maneuvering, right? But from the moment Cardinal Lawrence, played by Ray Fiennes, steps into the spotlight, you start feeling the heavy hand of modern-day messaging creeping in. What could have been an exploration of faith and power turns into a blatant attempt to sell the message that the Catholic Church needs a progressive makeover. And that message is shoved in your face at every turn. Now, let's start with the ending. Oh boy. I mean, I had to take a moment to collect myself, because the filmmakers pull a stunt that is so outrageous and out of left field, it's almost as if they wanted to make sure you never forget how woke and inclusive their narrative is. So here's the big twist. Cardinal Benitez, the seemingly reserved and mysterious frontrunner, turns out to be, wait for it, a biological woman. Yes, you heard me right. They end the movie by revealing that the future pope is actually a genetically female woman who was about to undergo surgery to transition into a more acceptable form. But oh, no. She doesn't need to, because she's already been appointed as the next pope. This is where the film just completely loses it. I mean, turning what could have been an interesting character-driven plot into a cringeworthy and on-the-nose political statement. Folks, come on. I'm all for diversity, inclusivity, and progressive thought, okay? But this isn't the place for it. The movie doesn't just hint at the idea that the church needs to change. It forces it down your freaking throat in the most absurd way possible, using the institution's centuries-old practices to tell us that it's time for a radical transformation. This ending, which comes out of nowhere and adds absolutely zero depth to the story or the character arcs, feels less like an organic conclusion and more like a jab at the Catholic Church for not being modern enough. It's less about the politics of the church and more about forcing modern day sensibilities into a narrative that should have had a lot more to say about faith, power, and the complexities of religion. And let me tell you, the characters in this film don't help matters. I mean, despite the amazing talent in this case, none of them seem like the figures of authority or inspiration. They're all riddled with self-doubt, second-guessing their faith, and embroiled in scandals that feel like they're trying way too hard to make the Catholic Church look corrupt and outdated. The plot has them in these endless, drawn-out conversations about political scheming, but none of it is engaging. It's just a slow, boring procession of name-dropping, manipulative tactics, and moral dilemmas that ultimately lead nowhere meaningful at all. Sure, the acting is solid, and I really hope that Ray Fiennes wins an Oscar because he's a phenomenal actor. But you'd expect nothing less from actors like Stanley Tucci and John Lithgow. But even they can't save a script that feels more like a lecture than a compelling drama. What's even more frustrating is that Conclave tries to balance the tension between conservative and liberal factions within the church, but it does so in such an unsubtle and one-sided way. Cardinal Tedesco, the conservative figure in the film, is portrayed as almost cartoonishly rigid, while Cardinal Lawrence and his liberal buddy Cardinal Bellini are given the moral high ground as the progressive voices who want to save the church from its antiquated ways. It's like, get the fuck out of here. It's painfully obvious what side the filmmakers are on. And while the movie tries to pass itself off as nuanced, it ends up feeling more like a sermon on why we should embrace a more liberal, tolerant church. At times, it feels less like a film and more like an infomercial for progressive values. One of the most tiresome aspects of this movie is the sheer lack of respect it has for the subject matter. The Catholic Church, love it or hate it, is an institution with a rich history, tradition, and a set of principles that have stood the test of time. But Conclave seems to treat all of that with a level of disdain. I mean, you can see the disdain dripping from their lips, portraying the church as little more than an old, outdated system desperately clinging to power while simultaneously being too cowardly to change. It's as if the filmmakers are saying, look, we're here to rescue you from this terrible, outdated institution. It's frustrating because whether you agree with the church's stances or not, the core message of faith, discipline, and moral responsibility has remained a central part of millions of lives for centuries. But in Conclave, it's treated like an antiquated relic that just needs to be discarded in favor of something better. At the end of the day, Conclave feels like a missed opportunity with a stellar cast. I love this cast and a fascinating setting. It could have been a gripping, thought-provoking drama about power, faith, and the complexities of human nature within a religious context. Instead, it's bogged down by political messaging that doesn't just intrude on the story, it hijacks it. The film isn't really about the church. It's about making a statement about the modern world's need to remake everything it doesn't like. And the ending, it's not just jarring, it's downright offensive. The filmmakers seem more concerned with delivering a stunning and brave twist than with telling a meaningful, coherent story. So if you're expecting an insightful exploration of the papal conclave or a deep dive into the struggles and triumphs of the Catholic Church, you're going to be sorely disappointed, like I was. Conclave is an agenda-driven mess that wastes its potential by focusing on delivering a political message instead of engaging with the complex world it's depicting. And that twist, honestly, it's so ridiculous. I can't even believe they went there. If you're still curious, go ahead and watch it. But consider yourself warned. This movie is more about preaching than it is about storytelling. And that's my review for Conclave. If you liked it and you liked what you saw, tell me what you liked about it. Tell me what it was that really hit it out of the park for you. If you are grossly offended like I am, and I'm not Catholic, but I just think that when it comes to these institutions, these people want to break it down and make it into something that it's not, but something that they like. And that's not what it is. So I am interested in hearing your thoughts. If you liked it, by all means, have at it. You can have it. I don't care. But I did not like this movie. I do hope Ralph Fiennes does get an Oscar for his acting because he hasn't gotten an Oscar yet. And he is a fantastic actor. I love Ralph Fiennes. And I love all the people in this movie. But I just don't love this movie. But tell me what you guys thought about it. Go ahead and leave all your comments in that section down below. If you like this video, go and hit that. And I won't mind. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. And I will see you guys on my next movie review. You guys have a good day. God bless.